This week on the internet is a series where I talk about all the topics you missed during the week. And first up, we have Twitch terminating all their members of the Safety Council. Now, this is not the same as their Trust and Safety team. They're two separate things. The Safety Advisory Council was basically almost volunteer work. It was a group of contractors that all specialized in different things to help advise Twitch on what to make their policy. And these contractors all got paid between 10 and 20K a year. And I can only assume this will probably be good for Twitch, because Twitch has always had an issue with really weird TOS policy. And I would assume that this team probably was some factor to that, because this team is a bunch of people that were not involved with Twitch's culture at all. So I'm sure that the Safety Advisory Council often recommended things that were just a bad idea for Twitch, because Twitch is a very unique website. Now, I wouldn't say this is all good for Twitch, mainly because they've also been cutting staff from their Trust and Safety team, which is like the actual moderation on Twitch. And this has been pretty self-evident, because there's been a lot more auto bans recently on Twitch. A lot of people have been getting false bans for basically no reason. Now, most of them do get unbanned pretty quickly, but getting banned on Twitch is pretty annoying. Like, if you're a streamer, that has to be like one of the worst things that can happen, especially if it's indefinite, because then you don't know when you'll be unbanned. Twitch is notorious for having the weirdest ban times ever. Like, some people will get banned for 2 days, and then other people will be banned for 6 years, and there's no real in between. Now, obviously, less people are banned for like really long periods of time, but still, Twitch is very inconsistent. But getting rid of the Safety Advisory Council was probably just a good idea. I really don't know what they would have added to a conversation that would have been like self-evident, because if you already have a trusted safety team employed, I don't see how they're gonna make much of a difference outside of that. And if anything, they probably just overreached a lot. And next up, we have TFUE going boar hunting. Now, this was a bit controversial for a couple reasons. So TFUE, a streamer and YouTuber, went boar hunting, and he live streamed himself shooting boars in the back of a car. Now, obviously, this in itself is controversial. I personally don't mind that he went boar hunting, but I don't think I would stream this myself personally. Something feels weird about it. And the biggest problem with TFUE's stream was the fact that he used 9mm round. And the reason that was a problem is because animals are much beefier than people, so a 9mm round doesn't really do much, and it just causes them to suffer and slowly die. So when TFUE live streamed himself shooting wild boars, he was using 9mm rounds. That's the problem. That's the big problem that people have. And I agree, that's a problem. Now, TFUE has addressed this, and I'm not here to go into this guy. He made a mistake, it is what it is. If he does it again, then you can really flame him, because he should know better at that point. And before anyone says that he shouldn't be hunting animals to begin with, these wild boars are a massive pest, okay? They reproduce like rats for some reason, and they eat and kill literally everything. They're horrible. There's a reason that people hunt them like crazy. The only real reason you should be pissed at TFUE is because he used 9mm. That's pretty much it. Because these boars are Satan spawn. And next up, we have Spotify refunding the car thing. Now, I covered this last week, but Spotify is bricking the car thing. The car thing is a cool little tablet that you could have put in your car to listen to music on Spotify or whatever else. And Spotify decided they wanted to discontinue it, and instead of just discontinuing it and not supporting it with updates, they're just bricking all of them for some reason, which really doesn't make any sense, because a lot of people have tinkered with these and done stuff with them that's pretty cool. So it's really weird that they would just brick all of them. And also, they were going to brick them initially without giving any refunds, which was the biggest problem, because this product is less than 3 years old. So now they're giving refunds to people who did buy the car thing, because I guess they realized they could have been sued. Yeah, when I first heard about them bricking all of these and not giving any refunds, it sounded illegal, and I guess it was. Now, I do think companies need to be able to discontinue products eventually, but car thing should not have been discontinued this early into its life cycle. And on top of that, just let people mess with it. Why are you disabling it? Why are you disabling it, Spotify? Just let people tinker with the little device. It's not that big of a deal. I don't understand why you would just discontinue it. And if it's too hard to update, you made it. Why'd you make it hard to update? But yeah, I'm glad people are getting refunds for this thing. I really wish they would just not brick it though. I don't see why they're bricking it. Just let people do stuff on it. Why are you bricking it, Spotify? It's not that big of a deal. And this move was also really dumb, because not only did they not refund initially, they're still bricking the device. So at this point in time, Spotify will never be able to launch a physical product again, because who is going to buy it? They announced they were going to brick all of them with no refunds. Then they got too much backlash and caved and gave refunds. But this whole process is insane. No one is going to trust a physical Spotify product ever again. This was so dumb on so many levels. And next up, we have another Discord rebrand. So I don't really get why Discord is so obsessed with rebranding every now and then. I have not been a fan of like any of the rebrands. I still prefer Discord's original color. I still prefer the original icon. I basically just prefer everything about the original Discord over current Discord. Current Discord is just worse looking. And now it's even worse looking because for some reason, every time Discord does any kind of rebrand, they make the color of their blue darker. Why? It doesn't make it look better. It looks worse and worse with every update. Like Discord, you already won. You already have majority of the market for this kind of application. Why do you insist on continuously becoming worse I don't understand. But in their rebrand video, they also go over the mobile update, which is also trash. I don't know why they pushed that at all. Like, the mobile update is still trash. I have not gotten used to it. It's not going to get better. It's still just a bad update. Like, there's so many things you can't do anymore that you used to be able to do that were just easier. You can't swipe on anything anymore. But yeah, new Discord color, I guess. In 5 years, Discord's not even going to be blue and white. It's just going to be black and white because that's where they're headed. They just keep getting darker. And next up, we have the fabric that blocks sound. Now, you might have seen this article because I saw it floating around pretty much everywhere. It was something like hair-thin fabric that blocks all noise or something like that. And it's technically true, but just like with everything that sounds too good to be true, this does have a massive catch. It has to be plugged into the wall. So basically, this fabric isn't alone enough to block noise. You have to electrically charge it and make it vibrate to oppose sound frequencies that come towards it. So basically, if you have one of these in your room, it would just be a giant noise-canceling headphone as a piece of fabric. That is what this technology is. It is fabric that can vibrate as well as noise-canceling headphones can to cancel out noise. That is all this tech is. It's cool. And it's cool that this fabric exists. And the reason this article popped up was because they recently found a way to make it way quicker. So this probably will become a thing you actually see places. But yeah, you can't just line this on your wall and have no sound go through it at all. It needs to be electrically charged and hooked up to a bunch of stuff. It's not some simple piece of fabric. It's still cool, but yeah, it's not some magical solution, unfortunately. And next up, the White House rejects an offer to oversee TikTok. Now this is interesting because basically TikTok went to the White House and was like, hey, if you're scared we're gonna do bad things, just watch over us. It'll be fine, right? And the White House said no. Which is a good thing. It is a very good thing they said this. We don't want the White House to have any control over any social media platform at all. Like, if you're worried about China doing stuff with the app, you should also be worried about the US doing stuff with the app because they would both mess with it if they could. I mean, China can and they do, but yeah, the US would mess with it if they could. At least branches of it would. So yeah, I'm glad the White House rejected the offer because we wouldn't want this. You just wouldn't want TikTok to be controlled by the White House in any way, shape, or form. The government should not control a massive social media platform. That's a recipe for disaster. And next up, we have Google search algorithm being leaked. So there was a bunch of internal documents that leaked from Google, and Google will definitely say that none of this is true, because that's basically what they've been saying, but all of this is probably true. Basically, Google lied about everything regarding Google search, which isn't really a surprise, and it's all the things you would assume. It's stuff like search rankings are basically determined by how big the website is, which we all knew. When you look something up on Google, what comes up first? It's like Reddit, NBC, you know, stuff like that. So that isn't really a surprise. So yeah, pretty much all the nefarious things you would assume about the Google search engine algorithm are pretty much true, which isn't really a surprise. We all kind of knew all this. It's all stuff like prioritizing big companies over Wikipedia, for example, taking data from websites and putting it in their little summary section. It's all stuff like that. Now, Google's not happy about this leak for obvious reasons, but this could become an even bigger issue for them because the US has been suing a lot of companies for antitrust recently, and Google might be up next. There is nothing stopping Google from being sued by the FTC right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is worrying them just a little bit, because this does look really bad. Because prioritizing big companies in your search results over other websites is pretty anti-competitive if you ask me, and I don't think the FTC would like that very much. But yeah, that's been the video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe down below if you're new. Follow me on Twitter @spatnz if you want to click that to check out more of my content, and have a good one.